Hey guys, welcome to Toyetic Studio. Today we're going to do something a little bit different than we normally do. Instead of doing a build of one of my Blockies models, which I have a couple of those in the works right now, stay tuned, we're going to be doing a review of the Magic Square MS-B36S Doomsday, otherwise known as Megatron. But we obviously can't call him Megatron because it's not officially licensed Hasbro product. So we're going to review B36S Doomsday. And the reason I'm making this video today is a buddy of mine who runs a channel you guys should check out. Links will be in the description below.
Looking at these after so many years, again, when I picked them up a few years back, I was really impressed with the alt modes, how close they look to the actual jets, as long as you don't look too closely. But just also the kind of engineering on such a small toy, all the kind of flipping around and spinning around and that kind of stuff that they do to achieve their alt mode, is pretty darn good engineering on such a small scale.
Now, obviously this is a very small package. And all the Magic Squares are. They're a little bigger than the ones that he had, but the reason why I wanted to make this video is because it reminded me that the Magic Square, even though they are very small and whatnot, they are incredibly detailed for what they are. You know, obviously it is not a licensed product, so it's not going to have the symbols and things of that nature on it. But overall, this is a fairly faithful replica of the toy that I grew up playing with. So I wanted to talk to Bart's Formers about the engineering that they put into these guys, because amazingly enough, this ends up looking like the cartoon Megatron when I'm done. And there are going to be pieces going in weird places. Now, of course, we've got, you're going to see all the seams and a little bit of irregularities. There's trade-offs that you have to make when you're on a scale this small. But you'll see that the Pew Pew mode, while it may not be the most attractive thing with all the creases and lines that a normal Pew Pew of this style would not have, it does have all the detail bits right here. You've got your I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. You do have your hammer back there, your thumb. It's got a lot of the details. The scope, which turns into the fusion cannon, is really well detailed. I like the modeling. And as we were taking off his accessories, I will show you towards the end that these can all combine together along with the fusion cannon to make a mounted gun for Megatron. Taking this off of Megatron to make a mounted gun doesn't make a lot of sense, but the toys that we grew up with in my era, this was a leader, along with Optimus Prime, who was the leader of the Autobots. Megatron was the leader of the Decepticons. And because he was a leader, he carried a little bit higher price tag. And along with that price tag, they wanted to throw in playset components, things that you could play with, like Optimus Prime's trailer turns into a whole battle station. It does all kinds of things because it's an extra way to play with the toy. It's a play set, not just a single unit. So that was one of the things that they prioritized back in those days. I guess I don't have a whole lot more to say about this except for let's go ahead and show you how it transforms and show you all of that really cool engineering that I was talking about. This piece right here that locks this top in, and it's also where the fusion cannon or the scope for the Pew Pew sits, it's supposed to lock in And almost every single panel on this thing, it's not the most tight I could possibly get it at the moment, but this is about as good as this ever has gotten since I got it. So I don't know if that's just the design of Megatron or if it's specific to my piece and I just got a warped piece of something somewhere. I don't know. Maybe if one of you guys owns Doomsday, you can tell me if you experience the same thing. That's the one major complaint I have about this toy, is that one spot. And I don't know if that's my toy or if it's the design. And these side panels, now here's the thing about Magic Square. They feel very flimsy, but they are pretty solid and pretty tough. And a lot of these pieces are going to feel like you're trying to break something to force it to where it's got to go. But that's just how tight the tolerances are on some of this stuff. This piece is, we'll say, finicky. It's not the most friendly, and it's mostly because of this one piece right here. You see this folded down piece right here? That, you have a teeny tiny little zone of clearance for it to flip up and pass this part, because it's like there's a cutaway there and there's a cutaway there that gives it enough clearance, and it's got to be held just right. You kind of got to hold your teeth the right way to get it to go in there. I think the main reason why I don't have a lot of these is because I like to handle my toys. I like to play with them, I like to transform them, I like to handle them, and his transformation is just so intricate that I almost just don't really want to mess with it. I mostly just keep him in his robot form, in bot mode, because he looks better that way. This is the part where we had the issues earlier, where it doesn't match up right, and this is what that is supposed to lock. The only things holding his arms together are this little tab and that thing, where it connects, and this right here. That's the only things holding this together. So, I don't know, it bugs me. It feels like it's not supposed to go that far, but I promise it is. It's the only way that it can clear the fist. And this part you want to go ahead and have lined up before you close it, because this needs to go into that slot. Now we've kind of got some sort of an eldritch horror going on. And now he has 2 front-facing feet, and our eldritch horror can stand on his own, mwahaha, in the void of space. Doesn't really exactly tab in, but it kinda hides away in his back. The reason why I had my fingers up so close is because this will just pull right off. So you kind of need to get close enough so that you get a little bit of leverage to pull those tabs out of those holes. He comes with 3 different faces. You've got your standard frowny face, and just standard unhappy Megatron. All you gotta do is just pop it off. Oh no, Megatron, what did you do to your face? And then we've got the oh so upset, scowly face. Oh, if I can get that lined up right, we'll be in business. We've got the yelling angry face. Rah! And pop it right off again. Make sure the eyes stay in there, because those eyes actually come out too. That's on a peg. And then we've got the happy Megatron. Ha-ha! I've thwarted your plans, Prime. Yeah, I know, that was absolutely terrible, but I don't care. For such a small piece and such thin pieces of plastic, it's incredible. Oh, side note, there are 2 pieces that are supposed to go on here that came with it, but that look more like the hammer to match the thing, but they never quite fit right, and recently I can't find them. I thought they were in the bag with all of his other parts, which they should have been, but I went looking for them to see if I could maybe figure out how to squeeze them on there the right way, and I couldn't find them. So we've got a lot of good detail. Like we got the components there, the hip skirt. Don't mind the tail, but I mean he's got he's got the look. He's got a very slim form for the way his legs are designed. He actually looks better than the G1 Megatron. This is designed to be closer to the cartoon, G1 cartoon, obviously. And I mean, look, he's accurate, pretty much. Like, he looks about like the cartoon, except that he doesn't have the Decepticon symbols. And you got a little bit of, you know, gaps in there, but those are things that I personally can live with for the level of detail and articulation that this little guy has. I am not great at coming up with poses. I can do some basic battle stances and stuff like that, but that's about as good as it gets from me. Let's go over articulation real quick. We got shoulder, goes all the way up to there, and it's on a pin, so it'll rotate any direction. Now you are limited by that shoulder joint, and I suppose if you really wanted to get a good long reach, you could pop that loose to do some, you know, reaching across his body stuff or something like that. But then you've got the problem of this, and that can happen, and it's really easy to happen. So I generally just keep it tabbed in. So we got all the way out to here. We've got full rotation. That is a little ball joint in there, but it's up, there's a peg that sticks in pretty far, so it's not as wiggly as a ball joint, and he's still limited by his shoulders and his chest anyway. But for arms, we've got full upper arm swivel. There's no forearm swivel because of the way all of this goes together, but we do have a pretty good bend. It's double jointed, double bend on the elbow, go all the way up. Not quite to match. He can't quite scratch his own shoulder, but he's got a pretty good chance at it. And then, of course, the hands, they're not articulated, but they spin. They're not on a ball joint or anything. They're just on a peg. I've actually taken them off to look. Head, 360 degree swivel, up and down. It's on a little ball joint, but as you can see, it's also connected to that hinge right there. So he can look a little bit down, and yeah, I know, I got a stain on him. That's my own fault. But I play with my toys, and my hands didn't always used to be the cleanest when I played with my toys. So head does the full swivel. He can look down a little teeny bit. He can look up pretty far, and since it's on that piece, depending on the angle at which you're looking at it, you know, you can tilt it back pretty far and it still looks okay. But basic movements, you got not a whole lot. But it is, I mean, it is still pretty good. Now, I was telling you guys about his ab crunch that is pretty incredible, and that is due to the way he transforms and is engineered, because he is on a hinge right there. So he can crunch really far, and if you move his skirt out of the way, he can double all the way over if you really want him to. Now, he's going to look terrible from the back, but he's going to look terrible from the back no matter what you do. It's kind of hard to, well, not terrible, but just, it's kind of hard to hide this little bit of kibble, and it just doesn't look great, and this doesn't look great. But when you're displaying a piece, you're willing to look at the front of it anyway. So he's got a great ab crunch. His waist swivels. He can go 360, but you gotta like make sure that parts are not gonna get in the way and stuff like that. For legs, this is where we get kind of crazy, because these skirts move out of the way so much that he can go all the way forward, almost all the way back. He can do full splits. Give me just a second here. He can do a full split, Van Damme style, and he's very adjustable. Like, those skirts have so much they get out of your way no matter what you need them to do. Also, we've got the only thing we've got down here is thigh rotation, which was part of the transformation. But we do have a pretty incredible knee that goes almost all the way back. It is not double jointed like the elbows are, so you don't get that extra, but that hinge is all the way on the back, and it's got a lot of room, and it looks really good that way, I think. I mean, like, it doesn't look bad. There's a little bit of, you know, schmutz going on there, but it's not too terrible. He's got a little bit of an ankle pivot because it is on a ball joint back there. It doesn't look right, but he can do that. But then he's also got a toe tilt that goes almost vertical. And if you wanted to, no, I guess it only goes almost vertical. So he can get into some pretty dynamic stances where his foot is way back there somewhere. And yeah, like I said, I'm not the greatest at doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, you could do just about anything you want with those feet within reason. You can have a pretty decent stance with the ankle tilt and still be flat-footed. Tilt those in. So, I mean, he can get a good horse stance. If you know anything about martial arts, he can get a pretty good horse stance. And obviously, you know, they come in, he balances really well. He's not front heavy, he's not back heavy, he's not top heavy. He's really well balanced, really incredible figure. And like I said, I'm not very good at posing, coming up with good poses. Normally, I just kind of mess around with it until I get something that looks halfway decent, and then I put it on my desk and I don't touch it. I'm sure you guys have seen my level of posing detail in my stop motion videos. Is not the greatest either, but I can sometimes recreate an iconic pose if I have a reference image. But yeah, so that is the Magic Square Megatron. Oh, I told you I would show you the toyetic feature they added to his extra components. But the problem with it is that it requires you to take off his fusion cannon, and it slots in right here, and then that slots in right there, and these feet swivel out, and you can have an upright. Oh, gotta have the feet forward more, way more for that. You can have an upright emplacement, and he is tall enough to operate that, look through the scope. But a lot more stable is if you crank it on down like this, and now he has a kind of a waist level thing. He's not going to be able to use the scope, but he's going to be able to use the cannon. Transformers, when I was a kid, were a lot simpler than they are now. They're way more intricate and involved, and way more fun now too, in my opinion. Just because, like, as somebody who collects and plays with his toys, I like to transform them, and the more intricate they are to transform, usually the better. Except, like I said, you know, he's almost such a monumental task just in the legs alone. To get those, I don't transform him very often. I think I have honestly transformed him more getting ready for this video than I have since I bought him. Probably than I will for the next 5 years. He's going to get posed and thrown up on a shelf, and his gun parts will go into his parts bag, and he will be a display until I have a reason to not have him there anymore. I really like these guys. They're not incredibly expensive. They're incredibly intricate to transform. I honestly cannot recommend getting one of these if you don't have fingernails. because some of these panels are a real pain to get pulled out. But if you don't mind really finicky and really tight clearances and tolerances, and you really like that, the fact that like his legs are hollow, but everything is super thin and still super sturdy and strong, you should definitely give it a try. So there you have it. That's the Magic Square MS-B36S Doomsday, otherwise known as Megatron. Thanks for coming by today, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and go check out some of my shorts. They're a completely different style, and hopefully we will have a lot of fun together. Thanks guys, have a good day.